The heaviest woman in the world. This is what she looks like now. Everyone remembers the story of Amber, who was considered the heaviest woman in the world. Weighing over 600 pounds, she was truly morbidly overweight. Fortunately, she managed to turn her life around, and you won't believe how stunning she looks today. At the age of 22, when most people are enjoying their lives, Amber was trapped in her own body. At 659 pounds, she was unable to do the things that normal weight people take for granted. The simplest things were difficult. She couldn't even stand up for more than a few minutes. This not only made her tired, but also put a strain on her bones and joints. Amber had always been overweight. As a child, she started eating all sorts of things and got fatter and fatter. No one could stop her gaining weight. During her school years, she gradually became heavier and heavier, and this caused her distress. Everything came to a head when she was in college. Amber was forced to drop out of college because of her fullness. She then turned to pleasure for comfort and stress relief. It was a vicious cycle. Every day she consumed thousands of calories. More and more fat poured into her body, which left Amber virtually unable to move. She lost many of her friends and contact with the outside world. She would no longer do things she loved. It was a lifestyle that isolated her. Unfortunately, it was all her own fault, and she was the only one who had the key to stop it. She became more and more lonely, depressed, and desperate. It seemed she would never be slim and would remain trapped in her morbidly obese body. There were times when she even thought of committing suicide, but she decided against it as it would be selfish and only hurt her loved ones in the long run. Over the years, Amber had been supported by her parents, all of whom were lenient with her and gave in to her demands for more and more food. She became a monster. She was even the subject of a reality TV show that follows extremely overweight people to find out how they got so fat and urges them to lose weight. Unfortunately, this is easier said than done, and the road back to a healthy weight is rocky. Amber felt trapped, had no confidence, and even saw herself as some kind of disgusting big animal. This was no way to live. The TV show gave her the initial push. After a year, Amber had now lost more than a third of her body weight just by changing her diet and exercising. She was still classified as obese, but she was relatively slim compared to before. She then contacted a doctor on the other side of the country. She hoped that with this help, she could get rid of the rest. But again, the road was anything but easy. She had to lose even more weight before her doctor could carry out a gastric bypass. Unfortunately, Amber was still her own enemy and struggled to lose weight every day again and again. She still managed to lose weight, not as much as the surgeon had hoped, but he weighed up the pros and cons and decided to go ahead with the operation anyways. He could see that Amber was doing her best and felt sorry for her, so he scheduled the surgery for the next day. The plan was to remove part of Amber's stomach and make it smaller, so that she would get full more quickly. As a result, she will eat less, and the fewer calories enter her body, the more pounds she'll lose. This wasn't a miracle solution, though. Amber would never become a skinny girl. The most important things she had to do herself is to eat healthier and exercise a lot. It was still an uphill battle, but the surgery made the road a little easier. One of the things she had to change was the dynamic in her relationship. Her partner loved to cook for her and provided her with everything she wanted. Amber loved this attention and closeness and admired his devotion. He made her happy, but it was detrimental to her health. She had to tell him that he had to do his part too. Fortunately, he understood and did his best to support her. So he also showed his love for her in another way. Over the next year, Amber lost a lot. She started to form new habits and learned to take care of herself. She felt that her efforts were paying off, and slowly but surely she began to develop some self-confidence. Amber had come a long way from her previous life and was now able to do things for herself, was no longer tired when exercising, and even began to fly back in contact with her friends. Amber even used social media and set up her own Instagram account to document her loss and spur herself on. So eventually, she reached her ideal weight. Although her first followers were only her family, Amber's story of struggle and heartbreak resonated with the public. It didn't take long for her account and especially her story to go viral, with more and more people seeing her and cheering her on every day. People from all over the world took part. They sympathized with what she was going through. Other overweight people saw Amber as a role model and believed that if Amber could do it, so could they. However, she was clear that she wasn't a doctor or nutritionist and wasn't recommending treatments or diets to anyone. She wasn't a brand representative for weight loss products or supplements. Even if the companies offered her good money, Amber felt a responsibility to her peers. After losing so much body weight, much of her skin went down. This is a side effect of the huge weight loss. Fortunately, surgeons can remove this to help look like the relatively normal. Amber decided to do this, and the loss of the excess sagging epidermis helped her reach her goal weight. She was finally confident and, above all, happy. This is not to say that Amber was skinny, nor did she want to be. She had achieved a figure with which she was completely satisfied. She felt healthy and happy and no longer had the worries and problems from before. Amber was now a strong and active woman, and despite her difficulties, she had defied all odds. She could now go back to college and live her life the way she wanted to, while at the same time being a role model to all who needed her help. And now you. What do you think of this shocking yet inspiring story? Would you have had the drive to lose so much weight? What would you do to prevent such weight gain? So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like this video.